What's up everyone, it's DV. I am inside Roblox Islands and I've got a really cool video showing you how to stack chests and pretty much float anything you can think of. You can float smelters, you can float chests, you can float totems, you can float anything really. So a lot of you already knew how to create ghost blocks. Usually it was by accident. And we've, been able to use these for kind of just silly obby things. A lot of people would be like, hey, look, I'm flying, but they're just standing on a ghosted block, or what you want to call a glitched block. And that's pretty much as far as, I've ever taken it. I've never really found a good use or purpose of making a video surrounding the ghost blocks, but this one is actually really, really super useful. So I'm going to show you over here. I'm going to show you Zach's island here. He's actually got these stacked chests. They look really, really cool. Look how crazy cool this looks. This looks way better than the typical every other block kind of gap that you end up, with these chests. Usually you have to do like every other block, right? And it just doesn't look good, and it takes up a lot of space, whereas look how tight this is. In fact, you don't even have to have these gaps side by side. You could actually put these right next to each other, so there's no gap at all between these chests. And so it's a really, really cool technique. I'm going to show you how to do that shortly. This is Zach's island, and he's actually one of the finalists inside the contest, one of our build contest finalists. And because of that, I'm not really going to show too much of his island. It's actually a really cool island, but I'm just going to show you his chest room because I thought this was really, really cool and a good use case for using this technique. So you can see here, here's another angle of the chest kind of front ways instead of sideways, and that looks really cool too. Actually, this is like the most consolidated space saving format right here. It doesn't look as cool. I like the sideways looking version better, but this is a good way, especially if you're using industrial conveyor chests. You can use this format if you're using industrials. You can only imagine the different builds we can come up with based on that. And then obviously with ghosted blocks, you can still do these kind of things. It's crazy. You're able to float like this kind of low gravity looking museum. I thought it looked really, really creative, but you can just get these really cool effects. Typically you'd see these kind of floating objects in like a corrupt island, but this is how you could do it. So I'm going to show you how to do this in a little bit, and let's go ahead and head over back to my island. But before I do, let's go ahead and introduce Please Send Help. And thanks again to Zach for letting me showcase his island for an example of these chest placements and use cases. And before I begin, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. So this is Please Send Help now 227. He's actually Potato Jar. He's Potato Jar in my Discord, and he's been trying to show me this for a while now. And in fact, he's got another build that I'm going to be showing pretty soon here that has it's completely unrelated to this ghost block thing, but he's got something really, really cool that I'm going to make another video with him because he's got a lot of cool ideas and builds, and he's really trying to push the limits of some of my builds that I've done in the past. This is what I've actually done, so these are actually mine, but he showed me how to do this. So big shout out to Please Send Help on this technique. He did show me how to do something, and I didn't know how to do this before, but I'm going to show you how shortly here. But this is the end result. So this is what you can see. I've actually, these are my stacks. If I were to reload the game, these are going to be gone. So if you're not familiar with ghosted blocks, I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you in a little bit how to do this. But thanks again to Please Send Help for showing me this technique. It's actually super helpful. And thanks again to Zach for letting me use his island. So let's go ahead and start this up. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need some dirt blocks, some grass blocks. And so I actually ran a lot of different experiments. I tried sideways. I tried, using different types of blocks. I've tried different speeds with my macro. This is the only one that worked. The other thing you're going to need, if you have the fast pick, so this is probably only going to work for PC users. I don't think unless you are on mobile and you figured out how to do a ghost block, unfortunately, you're probably not going to be able to do this. This is probably only to be PC only, but all is not lost. If you want to do something like this, just get someone that's on PC and have them help you out, right? So, just get a friend who's on PC that you trust with build access to your island and have them build it for you. All's not lost. You can get some help on this. But if you have figured out how to make ghost blocks on mobile, then you should be fine. You're just basically making some ghost blocks. So the way I found to work the best is to stack 2 grass blocks and use the fast pick pointing down. Like you got to view downwards. So you're going to be going from top to bottom for your block. And so the second block right under that grass block is going to get ghosted. It's going to get ghosted out. So you can see here, I'm going to start with 2 at a time. What we're going to do is I'm going to be pausing. I'm going to start and pause my fast pick macro. And if you don't know how to use pullover macro, man, I've referenced this macro like in almost every single one of my videos anytime I'm referencing macros. So check that app out. I will link in the description, but it is pretty powerful. cool. You can also check out the fast pick video that I created that it actually shows you how to set it up. But you can see here, I'm actually doing 2 blocks here. The bottom one is actually ghosted. So you can see the way you know if a block is ghosted is you see it no longer has grass on top. It loses the grass. It's almost like the carpet, that top, that green piece is gone completely. So when it's ghosted, it just looks like a big brown block. It doesn't have any kind of grass on top of it. And so you're gonna want to do basically however tall you're gonna want your stack. Or it's even easier, by the way. It's even easier if you just want to do like a couple of things that are floating. Like if you just want to float one thing off the ground by 1 block, your job's done. But I'm showing you how to do a stack chest series here, which is going to be probably, I think I go about 6 or 7 tall. But first thing you're going to do is for every 2, so you're going to go 2 up for every single stack. So for every level that you want, for every block that you want to add, you're going to add 2. That way the top one's going to get broken naturally, like no different than any other break. And then the one right under that is going to get ghosted. And now I've got a pretty nice height to this. So this is a really good height. So the next step is getting the chest in here. So the key for chest in particular, and really anything, like if you want to stack like the fireflies like I did, or chest, it's very important that you start from top to bottom. You're not going to go bottom to top, because if you go bottom up, the problem is it knows it's no longer a dirt block. So right now, every single one of these, it has to be placed on top of a solid block, right? So if you placed a chest, what do you place a chest on? A block. So if you're trying to go bottom up, it's just not going to work. So you got to start from the top and then go down. Now, the trick to this is you're going to need to switch. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to hit the block, and then you're going to switch really quick and click to place the block. So you're gonna have some skills on how fast you hit your keys. So I have my chest in the second slot, and then I've got my pickaxe in the first slot, right? So what I do is I actually hit the block with the pickaxe until you see the block kind of disappears for a second. Then I rapidly, as fast as I can, I switch to the second slot, which is the chest, and then I click as if I'm going to place it. So you're trying your best to place the chest before the dirt block disappears again or reappears again. So you'll see it like the dirt block will go away, and then you're gonna switch in place. So you're gonna do that really quick. You're gonna see that I do it really, really quick, and I'm gonna replay that a couple times. I'll do it in slow-mo so you can see it, but that's how you do it. So you can see here, I've got the full stack already. So I've got an entire stack of 6 chests here, and I could do that as many times as I want. I could do it for any angle that I want. So if I want to do a sideways or front facing, I could do that. It's pretty cool. And then you can actually climb it like a ladder. It's kind of neat. And so I'm going to do I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to do this for fireflies instead. So I'm doing the stack again, just like previously, right? So I got my stack, and then I'm going to get my display cases. So I've got a bunch of single display cases, and I'm going to start at the top just like before. So I'm going to put one on top, and then I'm going to use my pickaxe, and then I'm going to rapidly swap out to my third slot here, which is my display case, and then I'm going to place it. The hard thing is, this was really hard because if you look at it, the wooden, it's kind of hard to see if you got it, but if you look at it, there's like kind of a pinkish frame that's to the, you see right here, it's like a pink frame. It's going to be really, really hard for you to see, but I can see it because there's like this little line in the tower, this tower of blocks. And I know I got it. And if you click it, then you'll see that you got it. But like you'll see the glass. It's kind of obvious. It'll look kind of faded look, but you'll just need to make sure you know what you've actually placed. It's a little easier if you're doing things like maybe a double or something, but in this case, it was just a little challenging to see the tank. Now, in order to be able to see what you've just built, you do need to rejoin the game to clear these ghosted blocks, because these ghosted blocks are only visible during this session. So if I were to rejoin the game, they're going to be completely gone, and it's going to look clean. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and just place a smelter on top of this. I want a floating smelter. I think it would look cool. So I'm thinking about making like a series of like maybe an auto farm of floating smelters. What do you think? I think it would actually be really, really funny and cool. You can see here, the chests look clean, like chests look perfect. They're standing exactly the way I wanted them to. And then you can see also the fireflies. I mean, the firefly stack, all I got to do is put some fireflies in here and it's going to look sweet. You can see how the fireflies look. That looks way better than most firefly stacks that I usually see. I almost kind of wish that the game just supported this stuff natively. Like, in my opinion, I think you should just be able to stack these on top of each other, but they might have a reason they didn't want that. Maybe just ease of development. Maybe there's just from a programmatic standpoint, maybe they're just in a particular category that just doesn't work. but it looks good. So there's something else I wanted to show you that's just a little bit of added bonus is with the new wall lamps, including the signs, by the way. But with the new wall lamps, with the Firefly wall lamps, you can actually place these on a block. And if you take away the block itself, they just kind of free float there. So I had an idea of what if you added these to like the industrial chest, just for like a cool looking style to the industrial chest, because that might actually look really, really cool inside like like a storage room or something where you have lights. And then I actually place them when I'm placing these. It's just way too bright. So, you know, you got to I just kind of destroyed one of each because I think this looks really, really bright. And then if you actually color the lights, the colored lights aren't as bad as just the white lights. The white lights are just really, really bright. So you can see here, you know, I'm going to add red so you can actually see the chest now. So it's just a little bit more muted, that's actually looking pretty cool. But like, I think green would look cooler. Like, you know, maybe you have them like colored for axis, like these are locked, you know, or something, or maybe it's just like a level of like, yeah, these are out right now. Or you can like use colored lights to show like whether or not there's items inside. So if you're out of items inside that chest, maybe you swap them to red. So maybe it's a red chest if you know you're out on your items there. But then, you know, the other thing you could do is you can add signage. So just place these blocks here before you place the chest, add some blocks, and then do the signs. And you could do this with the stacks too. There's no reason you couldn't do this with the same stack technique. You just need to go to the blocks prior. But I'm gonna go ahead and put some signs on here. So let's just say this is like food, and let's just say this one is like cry iron. It looks like it got tagged. And this one, say it's like, you know, let's just make it buffle cry or something. And then I'm gonna go and replace this one. Let me fix this. And we're gonna call it, let's see, we'll do tacos. We'll call it tacos. There's tacos in here. So now you just got to knock these out. And as you can see, they free float, right? They're floating just fine. And then just add the chest back in. So that way your chests actually have a sign and a light. So, you know, both are very utility based. And so, like I said, you can swap those lights out. Again, another purpose. If you're out of items in there, you can just see what items you're out of. So you just, you know, instead of having to check all of them all the time, just change the light. Just swipe a red on it, and you'll know that that chest is out. So that's actually another utility. It's just a little added bonus here, some new ideas for you to be able to try out in your own storage. And maybe this will help you for some of your builds and even obbies. So that's the other benefit, added bonuses, maybe for, you know, some really, really cool looking obbies. Maybe you can do some cool smelters or something. Floating in the sky. So here's please send help. He's gonna I'm gonna do a little time lapse of him building this out so you can see how he builds his, so you can see what it looks like for him doing it. But thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please hit the like button and smash the subscribe button if you are new, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.